例えば、その後期の発達段階の先生がこれから増えていくと、その生徒さんのその多様な発達段階とか多様性に、すごくマッチしたそのティーチングができるようになっていくってことなんですが、それ以外にも何か、先生が発達していくってことで可能になっていくってことっていうのはどんなことがあるのかについて教えていただいてもいい？
Um, that's an important question. I think there's two parts here. One is what supports the development, and two is what are some of the gifts of that development. And in terms of again what supports the development, I think about in cultural contexts we have institutions that help to grow us, like schools, like churches, like community groups, and they grow us up to a certain point, but also they can actually also limit our development. And so then I think, if and as people start to hit a ceiling on their development, they need to seek out new contexts or containers to support their development, such as maybe something like the programs that the Stages International offers, because that creates a developmental learning environment that helps to further grow people. And if you ask the question, like, why is development important in the first place? I mean, one is I think it's because it's part of our birthright as humanity is to grow and develop. But I think part of the gift of the development is that we can include more and more in our circles of, I mentioned before, circles of identity, care, and responsibility. So if we think about how we live in a complex world these days with a lot of challenges ecologically and socially, there's the possibility through development to include and work on more of those complex challenges, maybe to make a difference around them. So I believe we need this kind of development for the whole of humanity and also all of life's well-being on the planet. So I do believe it has some benefits to offer us. And then as people grow and develop, of course, then as teachers, they're supporting the development of their students. And so it is true that will potentially continue to help to support the developmental process. But I have to say, I think one of the most important things here is not that the later stages are more worthy of respect or value than the other stages. They do have unique capacities which are valuable, but everybody brings in something unique and important and is worthy of respect and care. And so I think it's a little bit paradoxical. It's important to remember that we need developmental diversity actually, and we also need a lot of care and respect and compassion for the full range of development. And that's one of the things the developmental progression supports is that spectrum of compassion and understanding.
ありがとうございます。すごく興味深いです。